Nigeria has had her fair share of notable armed robbers like Dr. Ishola Oyenusi and Abiodun Egunjobi who terrorized the entire southwest. Lawrence Anini who dealt with the entire south-south. And here is the story of Derico Nwamama who held the entire southeast to a standstill, especially Anambra State. His real name is Okwudili Ndiwe aka Derico Nwamama. Derico started out as a street urchin in Onitsha, then graduated to a pickpocket, and then to a dreaded criminal whose mere mention of his name sent shivers down the spines of every single human being in the entire southeast part of Nigeria. The rise of Derico Nwamama. Indeed, long before Derico became famous for his exploits in the city of Onitsha, the entire Anambra State was under the control of another ruthless, merciless, and cold-blooded armed robber known as Chiejina. Under the reign of Chiejina and his gang, all residents of Onitsha were living in fear. In fact, a policeman once told me a horrifying story about Chiejina. He said that on 16th of February, 1999, 2 days after Valentine's celebration, Chiejina, acting on a tip-off, besieged a family in Onitsha hoping to get money from the man of the house, but unfortunately, the man didn't come home with money. He had gone to the bank before going home. Chiejina became so enraged that he grabbed the man's 4-month-old son, threatened to throw the baby from a 3-story building, and when the man and his wife weren't forthcoming with his demands, he flung the baby from 3-story building and shot the man twice in the head. He was that ruthless. In fact, reports have it that he forced families to have incest in front of him for his own amusement. He forced fathers to sleep with their daughters and mothers to sleep with their sons. Refusal meant death. Derico and Chiejina were very good friends at that time and also colleagues in the armed robbery business, a friendship that started during the famous Umulari/Agulari War. But Derico was not based in Onitsha then, he was based in Abuja, the federal capital territory, and only visited the east from time to time to carry out his robbery operations with maximum terror. And after raining a torrent of bullets and gunfire upon the hapless and ill-equipped officers of the Nigerian police and defenseless Nigerians, he would speed back to his safe haven, with his loot, safe on the laps of power, luxury, and comfort. But according to reports, Wala started in November 1999, when the then Obi of Onitsha, HRH Obi Ofala Okagbu, rallied Onitsha youths to help curb the ever-rising crime in the city to enable indigenes who ran away to return for the Christmas celebration of that year. Adu youths then sat together with some of the notorious armed robbers to know how to settle them and have peace return to the city of Onitsha. Chiejina and Derico were present in the meeting. But after the meeting, the deadly Chiejina refused to stand down. In fact, he attacked some members of the Adu youth and became even more ruthless in the entire state. Adu youth sought the help of his bosom friend, Derico, but it didn't yield much fruit, so they decided to give him a taste of his own medicine. They liaised with Derico and some special police officers to raid Chiejina and his gang. The operation was not totally successful because Chiejina was not present at the time, but members of his gang were rounded up and sent to the central police station, Onitsha. When Chiejina learned what happened, he felt betrayed by his bosom friend, Derico, and without thinking about the consequences, called on his right-hand man, who also doubled as his bike man, Amobi, to take him straight to Derico's parents' house. On getting there, he met Derico's father and decorated the man with lots of bullets. Derico heard about it and set out for revenge immediately. He ran into Chiejina close to Emmanuel Church at Ugwonokpamba Road, Onitsha, and pumped in lots of bullets into the great Chiejina, and the Irako of the underworld fell into a gutter. Derico then put Chiejina into a wheelbarrow and wheeled him to the police station at Isiokwe, Onitsha. An unconfirmed report claimed that Chiejina didn't die on the spot, that while in the wheelbarrow, he begged Derico to kill him and not take him to the police station alive. Derico then obliged him and pumped in one final shot to end the evil reign of one of Nigeria's meanest criminals. On getting to the police station, officers were dancing and celebrating. They lifted Derico up as their hero and celebrated him as the king of the town. Little did they know that they just crowned a more wicked soul, the king and protector of Onitsha. Indeed, the Derico was born on the day he killed Chiejina. After the death of Chiejina, Derico became the undisputed emperor of terror in the land. The entire Anambra State was in the soup, and the environs will not be spared too. At some point, Derico used the town of Umulari as his hideout. Then from there, he would issue threatening messages to the police that they will pay for killing members of his gang. He also maintained bases in other towns like Agbor, Benin, and Asaba. Indeed, the traders in Onitsha could not display their wares with peace while many slept with one eye open. Derico sacked commercial banks in Onitsha, carting away millions of naira. Travelers who had to pass through the state held their breath expecting the hoodlum to strike at any time. The then governor of the state, Chinwoke Mbadinuju, became an old man overnight with worries on how to handle the menace of Derico. He was described as the personification of terror. From Nuitan Poor, down to Onitsha, up to Asaba, from the villages in Umularai to towns in Ishola, the old and the young, men, women and children were terrified at the mere whisper of Derico Nwamama. He took over people's lands, businesses, wives and all his members including members of his family got away with anything because they were related to him. At that time, he was said to be invisible and could not be arrested. According to reports, Derico Nwamama killed over 200 people including 25 police officers whose lives he mercilessly wasted. He was a master of countless bus robberies and will not blink twice before pumping his hot lead bullets into the beating hearts of helpless victims. And after his successful raids, he would boast and declare himself invincible. Derico seemed to have placed a lot of faith and confidence in the charms prepared for him by the traditional witch doctors. Indeed, Governor Mbadinuju was not the only one worried about the reign of terror perpetrated by Derico Nwamama, as even President Olusegun Obasanjo was enraged that the criminal was left to unleash terror in a part of Nigeria. The police were helpless and had lost many men to the dreaded bandit and seemed at wit's end on what to do to bring him and his gang to book. In May 2001, the Anambra State Police Command launched the Operation Derico, which was aimed at capturing Derico and his gang members at all cost. The police managed to arrest some of Derico's men, but he was still elusive as he kept operating with reckless abandon, robbing, killing, and kidnapping innocent Nigerians. The fall of Derico Nwamama. In December 2000, Derico and his gang committed the worst crime known to man till date. They attacked a 59-seater luxurious bus filled to the brim at the popular Upper Iweka. The bus was about to leave for Lagos. After robbing every single person in the bus, they decided to kill everybody on board, including women and children, and mercilessly, the devil himself, Derico, gave the orders and his men shot all the passengers, execution style, and left them for dead. Only 4 people survived the ordeal. After that horrible incident, the then governor of Anambra State, Chinwoke Mbadinuju, didn't have any other choice but to bring in the dreaded Bakassi boys to help save the state. Bakassi boys in action. On Tuesday, July 3, 2001, if this date is your birthday, then you deserve 1 bottle of whatever your brand plus 1 plate of nkwobi, because that was the day Onitsha, and indeed Anambra State, was liberated. On the 3rd of July, 2001, Derico was on a bus going from Agbor to Onitsha. On getting to the Onitsha axis of the bridge head, the dreaded Bakassi boys stopped the bus. Sensing danger, the crime lord jumped the window to run away, but before he could make the first after jumping out, the nearest Bakassi member on the scene chopped off his left ear, and that was how Derico was captured. And for a man who thought he was above the law and could not be captured, it was funny how he started crying and pleading for his life. He was taken to Borromeo Hospital for treatment cause he was bleeding profusely. When news of his capture broke, every single human being in Anambra State celebrated as if it was the second coming of Christ. Please subscribe to our channel, like and comment for more stories like this.